Hey everybody, my name is Nate Winters. I'm the Director of Sales and Certified Sommelier here at Troon Vineyard and Farm, and I'm here with...
I'm Nate Wall, I'm the winemaker.
And Michael Wagner, assistant winemaker.
We're here to talk to you today about, I don't want to speak for them, one of my favorite wines that we make traditionally. This is our 2023 Syrah. If you've followed Troon for years or been a part of our club, you probably know that we've been making Syrah for quite a while. You also probably know that we've been under a big transformation over the past 8 years, replanting our vineyard and farm, and we are finished with that replanting process. And this is, excitedly enough, the first Syrah that we've made that is 100% those new plantings, so the current Troon. And from my perspective, it took a really nice, I would say, shift, mainly in color. I would say more relatable for what people think of Syrah and what we would like Syrah to be from this farm. Typicity is always on the forefront. I won't speak for them, but I really love that Syrah, like Mourvedre and Grenache and these other reds that are coming into their own on our farm, can give a real true sense of place. Anything you want to go with the Syrah?
Yeah, so like with that sense of place, Syrah is kind of a slightly warmer climate, version of Pinot Noir in that aspect, right? Pinot Noir is very famously just a transmitter of terroir, that it adapts very well to the place it's grown, and then you can really taste all the differences from like vineyard site to vineyard site. Syrah does that really well for us. And in the market, Syrah is a little challenging because Syrah is so adaptable, it can almost be the victim of its own success. Like you can have really light Syrahs and like on the other end, just, really dark, dense, like jammy stewed Syrahs and like everything in the middle. But what I like so much about what we do here is I think the Applegate Valley is an ideal location for Syrah, certainly outside of its ancestral homeland, which is Northern Rhone. And like, so to me, like this is the soul of Syrah. This is a 12.9 alcohol, and while Syrah can, like I said, get to those big, jammy, weighty wines, I don't think that's like where its soul is. I think this is this is much closer to Northern Rhone Syrahs, where Syrah evolved. So it's these lighter bodied wines that still have texture and finesse and elegance and aromaticity and like just all these things that we love about Syrah. We get that here in the Applegate Valley, and that's what excites me most about Syrah on our property.
Yeah, and I think going from vineyard into winery, with that being said, is we have a lot of small lot ferments. So he was mentioning how much Syrah can do. It's really interesting watching how all these different clones turn into different ferments. We're doing some whole clusters, some destemmed. And so you're getting a lot of variety and one grape, but coming out so many different ways. And then eventually they end up in barrel, or for this vintage in concrete. So you have some different tools to play with there. And again, with blending, it becomes this game in the spring for us of trying vessel to vessel, how everything is tasting, how it's progressing, post fermentation and into malolactic fermentation, and then how are things aging, how are they eventually going to get blended together. So for all of our Syrahs that we make every vintage, they end up slightly different, just depending on what we think is best in that time, and also how things kind of all fit together. But for this one, it's about 50% concrete, right? And then the remainder being oak. And like I mentioned, a variety of clones and a bit of whole cluster in there too. So you're getting a lot of different factors that we had fun playing with. And the concrete specifically was really interesting to fit into this because it just adds so much interesting texture, and really enjoying the Syrah right now.
Yeah, I think the one of the reasons we do love about Syrah having that ability to really kind of transmit like a time and a place is that we do have a lot of different like clones of Syrah planted here, and they respond differently to the different years. So, like different growing conditions, different seasonality, like the different, the different blocks of Syrah we have will be different. And that's what makes winemaking of this grape so fun, so interesting. Because we do have like a lot of different puzzle pieces with Syrah, and they all are different year after year. And so this 2023 like Syrah, which has little bits of kind of all of those parcels of Syrah across all of our property, is just such a great encapsulation of what 2023 is. Because each of them are going to be different year after year, because we embrace vintage variation. Like, wines should not be the same year after year. Like, this is an agricultural product. Nature is not the same. It's getting weirder all the time, it seems. But we really embrace that. And so each year when we make the best wines we can through those blending sessions, especially, but like having all these different like small lots to play with really allows Syrah to express that vintage year after year.
Yeah, I think vintage and terroir are all really important when we talk about wine. So it's not just a delivery vessel. There's a lot to be said. When you think of the West Coast in general, Washington and California kind of sandwich Oregon here, and those two states tend to make a little bit more extractive, fuller body style of Syrah generally. And I think Oregon, what we can do better, or best that we can show ourselves, differentiate ourselves, is make these a little moderate to lower alcohol wines that still express everything you want from those fuller, heavy alcohol wines. This is 12.9 alcohol on our Syrah, but it drinks, I don't want to say with a richness, but with a nice density that you can have it with a red meat, a ribeye, some lamb, but you can also bring it down in the protein as well to something a little lighter, or a vegetable stew. There's a lot of potential here, but I love that it's lower alcohol and not hollow or thin, or like there's something missing. To me, it says like maybe we've planted the right grapes in the right place to be able to pick on such chemistry. I know that you pick on pH rather than on sugar, and so to have a balanced wine, moderate alcohol, I think that's very reminiscent of the old world of wine being on the table with food. It's kind of the intention, and what I'm grateful for with our wines in general, but with Syrah. We bottle a couple Syrahs every year, and so this is kind of our core Syrah. This is the Syrah you'll see, distributed, I would say, across the country from New York to Atlanta. You'll find this wine. There's only about 300 cases, so I say it's a core item and it's widely distributed, but take that with a grain of salt. All of Troon wines are very much small lots, so 300 cases, it's not that much, but it'll get us into next year, and of course it'll give it some time in bottle to age a little bit, and I think our wines are getting more ageability as we go with these vines as well. So nothing but optimism from my side with this wine. I could talk about it all day, so I don't want to do that to you. This is the same kind of thing we have going with all of our wines. We're trying to be as sustainable as we can, from packaging to the vineyard, how we make the wines. So we wanted to put ingredients on the back of everything, right above that QR code. So again, if we didn't answer some of your questions that you have in this video, feel free to scan the QR code. We have calories, there's nutritional, you'll see video tasting notes. So we'd love a little bit of engagement. Feel free to reach out to us anytime if you do have questions about any of our wines. Do either of you have any final thoughts on this wine?
I don't think so. What about you, Nate?
Yeah, I mean, I said it that that this is probably my favorite red wine to make at Troon, because we're able to, like Winters was saying, the harvest chemistry of these grapes, like they all just come into balance at just the right time for the Applegate climate, and that just tells us that this is absolutely the right grape to be growing here. Throughout the winemaking, throughout the aging. This is one that we actually age a little bit longer. This is about 18 months in the cellar, and watching all these wines evolve throughout that time is just a fascinating thing. And one of my favorite parts about making wine here are the Syrahs.
And with that said, we hope you can get a bottle. There's plenty of it for now, and we look forward to talking to you soon, hearing from you soon at either of our tasting room locations. This is available. Both locations are open just about every day of the year. So if you're in need of a bottle of Syrah for yourself or on a Tuesday or a special occasion, I think the wine is fitting for all of that. So have a good rest of your day. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.